Day 2 of the Cervelo MTB launch, and this is a proper prototype exclusive. They're brand new, not even finished yet, full suspension rig. So, why is Cervelo getting into XC mountain biking? What are the details on the bike, and how does it ride? Okay, so the reason Cervelo are building XC race bikes is pretty simple. Jumbo Visma signed Milan Vada, top Dutch racer, and he needs some bikes to race World Cup. So while hardtail is relatively quick to get dialed, this full sus proto, yeah, understandably, it's taking a lot longer. So he'll have both bikes for the opener at Albstadt, but he'll be one of the engineering prototypes like we're riding now for that race. First impressions, what supple, you know, ground hugging ride this is. Zero issues with traction. Even the Aspen, even the Recon Race out rear, and it's actually set up around 30% sag, which is way more sag than I'd expect on an XC bike, but while it feels kind of super mobile when you're off the power, it really kind of hunkers down. It feels brilliant through the pedals. Up these stutter routes. See how it does over these rocks. Yeah, again, real blur vibes, which is unsurprising because kind of the major kinematic points are blur. Obviously, Cervelo are a sister brand of Santa Cruz, so that's not surprising. And it means you've got commonality of bearings as well. So spares are easy to come by. And as Cervelo put it, you know, there's no need to spend a lot of time learning on that. And they already have that expertise in-house. But actual composites and the way they want the bike to ride, that's all on them. And the really interesting thing is, although they've deliberately gone lighter, I mean, this isn't the finished layup, so there's plenty still to go at, but they've already shaved 100 grams at the swing arm, and it looks a lot thinner and more gracile too. They've actually gone slacker in the head angle. Okay, so hyperlight, literally a proto frame, Recon race tire, 67.5 degrees seat angle, 76 sagged. Whoa, hello. I'm Strava lining without even meaning to. But to be fair, the control on the front, I mean, this is a nightmare for a bike like this, let's be honest. This kind of maximum load, minimum camber, sketchy front tire, dusty. But yeah, she's holding it, and let's take the steep drop in. Woo! Yeah, no high post nerves there. Fun. A lot of fun. And so grip. Oh, I swore. Whoa, I think it's the first time I've sworn on a YouTube video. But yeah, really, really gripped. Oh, that hasn't got any cleaner overnight, but, and then proper WRC acceleration there. It really dumped the turbo. Well, okay, that was bouncy. I think I need to have a word with that Sid shock up front, because I'm currently not really tipping those arms in. There we go. I think the rebound's a little off the front, but the back end properly pushing that foot, you know, that's a good sign. I mean, yeah, this is obviously the lightest of the Sids, but still. And again, just little sections like that back end drops in, you can just feel it. Really compliant. There's quite a lot of kickback on around the sag point. I think it's a little flexy there at the moment in terms of, you know, what a traditional cross-country rider will like to feel. But elsewhere, once you're in that stroke, once you're in the depth of the damping on that 30% sag, so controlled. So check the rebound on the fork, and it's actually pretty sorted. So I think it's kind of just a function of a longer bike, slimmer tubes, but and also slightly slacker as well, you know. It's degree, come on, degree slacker than the Blur. So, you know, together with that high post, takes a little bit more to tip it in. We've got 60mm stem, but yeah, so smooth through those sections. And now get the body English down. Just get your feet weighted right. There you go, pressing through the ball of the foot. Trust the recon. There we go, make space. Ah, this is nice. Nice. I mean, it's not a bike you want to be riding on the front brake all the time as I am now. And I'm really keen to see how it goes when we get into more open, chattery stuff. But wow, the grip on the half camber was phenomenal. And like pretty much every, I love the way it just pops the back end out when you tap that brake lever. I mean, it's only a level RSC, but it just loves a bit of skid steer. But these kind of trails, oh, it's gonna kill on these. You can already tell that. Just feels so planted, and still, yeah, I mean, there's a bit of muscle shimmy there. You could just feel it when you're really loading the pedals, bracing the bars against the frame. You can feel there's some twist through the front end, which is to be expected, you know. It's a proto layup, and the tube forms are a lot slimmer than on the Blur, because that's how they get the weight through. That's how they get the weight reduction. But again, pedaling efficiency, that bottom bracket stiffness feels epic. Really broad BB, something that Cervelo always use, and they've maintained that with the screw-in design. Sorry, I just want to stop and look at that, see if it's worth a photo. It landed that section like a freaking cat. Damping is so good on this back end. You know, it might be a rowdy brand, but this is definitely not a rowdy feeling mountain bike. This is a proper player. Loving this. I mean, it's always a good sign when it's the e-bikes. What? No, go, I'm filming. At your expense. Just keep going straight. I mean, it's always a good sign on the bike, especially an XC bike, when the people you're hanging with on the climbs are on e-bikes in turbo. So, oh, damn it. Reverse axis shifting, but just the way this pops and grips out turns. This is all time. I've got to say, I would love a dropper though. So I've put my post back up and it's not quite right, so the spec says fixed post. It's a 30.9 Cervelo post. And while the geometry's not that long, it's still tight enough to swing through there nicely. But yeah, it's like I say, you have this relax on the front wheel, pulling up through those pieces. Whoa, BB height's pretty low. So speed stability is good, but got to watch those stumps like that. But this loves to climb. I love talking about it while climbing. So again, that's pretty flattering for a bike. I can keep up some kind of bullshit soliloquy while pinning it uphill. Okay, sweepy single track off the top. Oh, they hate the camber on these trails. I don't think there's an Italian word for berm. Not in this part of Tuscany anyway, but... So there's a lot of that extra leaning in, but... Actually, once you get around that part... There we go. There we go. Just thanks to Scott, the engineer on the project, this actually reminds me a lot of my Crud Flare Max. It's got that similar kind of sprung, really lovely, lively, visceral, kind of sinewy vibe to it. But with probably about 2.5 kilos weight advantage, frame for frame. I mean, they're not releasing even a kind of target frame weight yet, but lighter than the Blur. So sub 2 kilos is obviously where they're heading. And this is, like say, an proper engineering prototype. I think this is one of 2 bikes they have, so hugely exciting. Kind of have the live ride exclusive on this. Very, very flattered. And great to be able to give the team some feedback at this point in the development too. I love being part of these processes. But interesting chatting to Scott and Brian last night. Actually, one of the people at Jumbo who's been giving them the most feedback is Milan Varda himself, the guy who's going to be riding this bike. So he's super into all the technical side. I love the way it takes the rowdy line when it can. Don't want to get it filthy though. I mean, it's brand new, proper proto spec. Okay, next to the fun line finish. Hit the bike in now. Time for some turn and burn. I mean, it's weird. I keep wanting to call it. I mean, it's weird having a bike that I'm riding that doesn't even have a name yet. That's like a first. It's so new. I mean, it's probably going to be like an H and then a number, because that's what Cervelo do. That's going to be in that naming protocol. And but you know, M5's out. You know, one's going to be a whoa, hello. Concentrate, Kez. Don't think about the name. Think about keeping that ardent race on track. I have to say, as long as you drop your weight, comes in pretty nice. That wasn't a frame twitch that threw me out there. That was purely lack of attention. It's actually holding really nicely. You can see you pull it in if you want. No problem at all. But that's with the seat dropped, so definitely gagging for a dropper is this. And I can see why. They've got their own carbon post. But yeah, this one's a dropper in the mix. So this morning, I didn't realise I was actually running it with the wrong fork. Had too long a fork on it, so I'm on 100mm now, and it does feel a lot more balanced. It's at 66.5 before, and I wasn't hooking the uphill turns as well, and you saw me pushing out on some of the descents too, because that's slack old head angle for a lightweight frame to deal with. Now I've got the SID SL in, 100mm, true 67.5 head tube angle, feeling a lot more balanced. Interestingly, kind of holistically, feels more precise, even though it's a flexier fork, because the balance is better. I don't feel like I'm having to kind of compensate and pull it back as much. I'm also running more sag, so this morning I was on 30%, now I'm on 25. And again, just pushing me more forward on the bike, giving it a slightly more urgent feel where I am in terms of over the bars, and also it's not feeling quite as supple and sunk into the stroke, which for the category of bike I think is where most people want to be. But the damping is still excellent. I said, it's still got some tweaking to do on those rear stays. But if they're after a supple ride, this is very impressive, as is the traction. You know, doesn't feel like I need a lockout at all. And again, just that uphill turn there, it's not wandering as wide, feels more balanced, feels more connected. And it's not as steep as the hardtail, but then obviously different dynamic sag between hardtail and full sus. That's the hardtail that Jared's on board ahead. So actually, jumping between them, very similar kind of posture and poise. Okay, now we're going to see how this fork and this bike behave downhill. Oh, that little short chainstay means it just pops really nicely. Oh, it just feels so supple through those little compressions and landings. It feels great, and yet still really composed when you slap through the little rocky section. It's certainly not a bike that makes you feel like you need to take the smooth way around at all. It loves a bit of bump and bump action. Yep. And again, now that fork's a bit shorter, it just feels a lot more balanced. I mean, you can probably see, much easier to tip over. Just really well balanced with this 100mm fork. Phew! Yes! Whatever your name is, I'm enjoying riding you. Well, this is such a fun play bike. Whoop. Oh yeah. Oh, the dynamic vibe of this bike is just great. And by that I mean kind of the way it all flexes together. It's kind of really balanced. There's no part of it that feels like it's getting pushed too hard by the rest of the bike. So, well, it's definitely not the stiffest machine you're going to ride. It actually, now I've got that ZSL on the front, the whole bike just feels properly, you know, I'm just looking through the corners, it's flowing through, it's tipping in. Again, 760mm bar, 60mm stem. Woo! You see, I mean, if you're blind dropping on a cross-country bike, then pretty much happy days. It's that back end so sorted, you know, no problem, just keeping heels down, speed up, and if anything, it's super eager to tuck inside, but it's not twitchy or sketchy when you do. So yeah. Hero lines are us. Yes, Cervelo anonymous thing. Yeah, Milan is gonna have a lot of fun riding this bike. I can tell you, just the back end of this is so supple, so planted. Yee! Making use of that recon now. Like I say, the GX Axis bikes come with the grippier tyre. I'm really feeling like that's going to be a big help for the more trail stuff, so I'd probably go there. If you're going for the downcountry side of things and you still want a Cervelo. But hell yeah, this thing is gripped. That's Maria up front. Her job is kind of masterminding the whole project, putting it all together. It's been an absolute pleasure shredding with her the past 2 days. But this bike, this is sweet. And that's Scotty the engineer. Guys, good job.
Thank you.
Take a bow. Boom. Boom.
How'd you like it, mate?
Ah, this thing, where do I put my name down? I want my name down on an early release form.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah, I'm happy to go. Want
some more there?
Feels like this is drawing a more natural arc around stuff now. Plus, that sit-in, it's several hundred grams lighter as well. So that's a definite bonus, but just up here, till someone fouls it. No peak, no corner. You know, I can see this on Red Bull TV, hauling up some climbs, devouring people, and then Milan having a big old grin on his chops as he hits the descent sections, for sure. So there's a little bit twist through the rear ankle, so there's a little bit of twist through the rear angle when you're working across spine rocks and such. Maybe cross-threading a route, but that's what you'd expect at a bike this weight. And considering how notoriously hard it is to get a flex day bike right, Scott and the guys at Cervelo have absolutely nailed it. In terms of descending response, certainly on the Anonimo, let's call it that. It's not an Aspero, hasn't got a name. Maybe it's an Anonimo. Yeah, baby. Oh, this is way more fun than I was expecting a mountain bike from Cervelo to be. Sorry guys, it's kind of throwing shade at just how much I thought you'd know how to make a really enjoyable balanced bike. But to be fair, you haven't had long, but you've done a seriously good job of making a party bike out of this. But obviously, a party bike that's going to come home with podiums, not just cake and some tissue paper. Woo! Yeah. Still happy to adjust lines. Still drift that rear end. So much kind of holistic feel to this bike. Really feels good working these tires hard.
So after that last descent, I don't think I need to tell you how much fun I've had riding this prototype Cervelo XC race bike. Way more than just a pin a number, hunt a podium, and then whimper home having been punished. This thing properly rips. And I think, you know, not just me, but a lot of people will be surprised that Cervelo have put such kind of a progressive, fun, supple charger of a bike together when they're, you know, basically an aero bike company. But, you know, having met the guys behind it now, I am not surprised that this thing is a lot of fun. So you'll be seeing it on the XC circuit from Albstadt onwards, the 2022 season, but it's not going to be available to buy for probably nearly a year from now. So properly privileged to have a go on this genuine prototype bike, and great, you know, and great to kind of be involved in the feedback loop as well. And really interesting chats with Brian and Scott and Maria and the rest of the team at Cervelo about, you know, where they're going next with this prototype before it comes to production. But have to say, considering it is basically a mule, it is an absolute ripper. I've used that, you know, have to say, considering it is a prototype mule, I'm super impressed with how it rides. And so massive thanks to Cervelo for inviting me to this kind of pre-launch. Thanks to the beautiful Vittoria de Maiano here in just outside Florence for hosting us. Thanks to Giro Cycling UK for sponsoring the channel. Thanks to Peaty, thanks to Crud, thanks to my Patreon subscribers who pledge a small monthly amount, which helps me grow the channel, helps me spend more time making these videos, and they get extended, early and exclusive cuts ad-free as a thank you. But so if you really like what I'm doing on the channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon. But click for subscriptions, click for notifications, so you know when any more information about this Cervelo comes out. Make sure if you're watching this on the day the video is launched, make sure you watch the Red Bull TV on the weekend to see how this bike goes at Albstadt, see how Milan, if he is riding it or whether he's riding the hardtail, see which he picks. That'll be interesting in itself. Yeah, let's see how this bike progresses through its development. I'm hoping I'll be kept in the loop on that. But for now, I've been Guy Kestevan on Guykest TV in Tuscany, being super lucky to get first ride on Cervelo's prototype, absolutely flat out fun, Anonimo XC full suspension bike.